Hi, this is Stephanie Miller from The Stephanie Miller Show. Please enjoy this exclusive clip from my show on Political Voices Network. Okay. They're hoping that, people don't have a basic understanding. Presidential Records Act is exactly the opposite of what Trump is saying. What that means is they belong to us. Presidential records belong to us, not to him. And then the Espionage Act, as Glenn Kirschner told us yesterday, this is to a T, the Espionage Act. You don't have to prove, which, as you were alluding to, John, I'm sure is true also, but you don't have to prove he was selling or sharing them. That's not, the Espionage Act encompasses everything he did.
Right, but the goal is to have something really simple that's easy for a low wattage person to comprehend, whether it's true or not, and then fundraise off it. So you'll be hearing Presidential Records Act says Trump was completely legal and they should apologize to him all summer long because that's how Trump gets paid.
Yep. Pam in New Hampshire, you're on with John. Hello, Pam.
Hey, Stephanie. I was listening to Midas Touch this morning, and the Fulton County Sheriff, when Trump was in New York and down in Miami, they all went down to both New York and Miami to check out security, crowds, to see how local officials. So I think something's coming.
Yeah.
And it's on his website. The sheriff admitted it, so maybe he's trying to warn people, don't start anything.
Yeah.
And then the reason why Trump's mad at the Lincoln Project, there's a brand new ad airing on Fox called First Year, and it made me cry. I just watched it waiting to talk to you. You will see why Trump and the Republicans are mad.
Yeah.
So check out their new ad. It's serious.
All right, great. Something's coming. I don't know what it is, but it is going to be great. I think that's what she said.
Around the corner or whistling down the river?
Yes.
Come on. Deliver.
He's the only straight guy I know that speaks show tune.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. I'm a straight man with a black belt in show tunes.
Neither Travis nor I.
Did I top both of you? I don't know that. Did I top both of you? I'm turning in my straight card.
I've got the only homos in the world that don't speak show tune.
Yes, John. Wow. You topped both of us.
Thank you. I think I power topped both of you, and it was on camera. Thanks, Free Speech TV.
Dylan would know it if he was here.
I didn't get the musical theater gene. Not at all.
It's okay. I'm white and I don't like mayo.
Okay, there you go.
To her point, we were saying, of course, this was a pathetic little group of misfits again.
Yeah.
There was no violence, obviously, in Miami, but obviously Malcolm Nance and others are still concerned in the aggregate. One extremism expert said the religious underpinnings. Here's your specialty, John. That inspired the violence on January 6th could spark violence once again. As we know, more people have died in the name of God and religion than any other cause.
Jesus is all about vengeance and violence to get your way. If you read the New Testament, you'd know this.
He said, while it's good that no violence erupted outside the Miami courthouse where Trump was booked, there are little fires everywhere that are pointing us toward deep civil unrest and deep mistrust in our public square. Christian nationalism is pervasive in right-wing American politics at the moment, and it emanates from politicians, pastors, and Fox News hosts.
That's true.
And this is what you're calling out all the time, John, but it is... for being the least Christian man we've ever seen in the public square. Yeah. Donald Trump knows exactly what he's doing with the buttons he pushes.
And by the way, a lot of the so-called Christians do as well. But you know what? I want to say this shows how smart it was to have Alvin Bragg do the first one. Having it be the New York City indictment before the federal indictment and because that was a crazier mob for that than for this.
Yep.
I mean, if they had gone with the federal indictment in Miami first, you might have seen a crazy crowd. But there's no Oath Keepers showing up because they waited, and those guys are going to jail now. They're going to stay away.
Yeah.
A lot of the more violent ones are scared because they know deep down Donald Trump does not have their back.
Right.
It's a cult of selfishness that will always turn on each other. But right now, Alvin Bragg going first looks like the smartest way a civilized society could have done this.
Yeah, interesting. Hakeem Jeffries on this same subject, extremism.
What many of the right-wing extremists clearly want to do is shut down the government. It shut down the government under President Clinton. It shut down the government under President Obama. They even shut down the government under President Trump as part of some effort to try to extort the American people for billions of dollars to pay for Trump's medieval border wall.
Yeah, one more, Hakeem Jeffries.
Shutting down the government is in their DNA because they're irresponsible individuals. They don't care about government. And so what we see right now taking place in the appropriations process is perhaps an effort by some extreme MAGA Republicans to drive us toward a government shutdown. And that's a shame.
Kevin McCarthy's going to have to hand that man a gavel.
Yeah.
It's going to happen.
I mean, we were just saying they are to a person. It's just not serious. They don't want to govern. They're there to be, internet trolls and to do stunts. I mean, we say my new favorite, Jasmine Crockett. Oh my God, she's the way she bitch slapped Lauren Boebert yesterday. But I was saying, not only are they not bright, whether it's her or Marjorie Taylor Greene, they come completely unprepared. They keep getting bitch slapped because they don't have any of the facts or figures correct. And they're just rude. Their whole thing is to be rude.
But the
to whoever
media media would have you believe they're 51% of the population and not 27 max.
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. There's always more of us if we show up to vote. They are a minority, but they are committed to showing up on Election Day.
David in Miami, you're on with John.
Hi, David.
I'm such a nerd that I have the Wonder Bug lunchbox. I've seen Michael Keaton as Batman again, and Carol Kane in Star Trek. Nerd.
Wow.
Nice.
Wonder Bug.
Nerd.
Yes. But I want to recommend Jim DeFeedy did a recent documentary about our buddy Ron DeSantis, and it's beautiful and terrifying. I want to thank Fugelsang for playing Pat Robertson in a six-way Zoom call some years ago.
Do you like that? Thank you. Yeah.
Wow. Hilarious.
I really went deep for that impression that day. When I die, hell's going to open so wide the sky will turn orange on the East Coast.
Exactly. And someday I want to hire...
It's hot where I am!
To remake that terrible Christian movie Time Changer. Hal Sparks knows more about it.
Okay.
But happy Father's Day, all y'all.
Happy
Hey,
Father's
you too.
Day.
Thank you.
Thank you, David. Okay.
I was led to understand I'd have wings. Why am I kissing a cloven hoof here?
It's true.
Sling Blade and Barney Fife had a child. I don't know what that impression is, but
That's
okay.
that's exactly how Pat Robertson talked.
It is.
It is.
He married my cousin,
With
believe it or not.
that Hampton Roads accent.
He married your cousin,
He
meaning
performed the
officiated.
service. He officiated my mother's cousin's wedding.
Wow.
And one time I was in Virginia Beach with my family for Thanksgiving, and Pat Robertson let me use his studio for a hit on MSNBC because he believed nothing. But yeah, that he was the real deal. He wasn't as evil as Falwell. He wasn't as racist as Falwell. But so much of what has gone wrong in our country, we owe to him. And, Ronald Reagan never endorsed Bush for vice president until after Pat Robertson had dropped out.
I mean, even if could you take your organ out? I mean, you
right
are the
away.
official
Thank
atheist of the Stephanie Miller Show.
Slap
However,
it on the desk,
I'm
please.
just saying, the sky turning orange, Pat Robertson dying in Pride Month on the day Donald Trump is indicted. Come on, John.
It's a little too on the nose.
What?
It's a little too on the
Yeah,
nose.
I mean,
Yeah.
there's got to be a lot of atheists were turned that day, I think.
Well, suck it, atheists. I'm Pat Robertson, and I'm in hell for my crimes and blaspheming. Suck it, atheists. I just proved it a loving God because he's punished me to eternal torment and hellfire.
Do you feel like it was a sign when they brought an actual golden calf of Donald Trump into the last CPAC? It was an actual golden
It was
statue.
more like golden veal, but yes.
Yes. Here's Sarah, not in a totally unrelated story to Lauren Boebert being dumb and unprepared. Here's Sarah Palin.
Oh, no way.
Say that the people at Versailles at the Cuban restaurant, I wouldn't call them cult members, would you?
No, the definition of a cult is a group of people who are excessively supporting one another and a cause, all about conformity and compliance and intolerance of anyone who doesn't agree with what their mission
Republicans.
is. Okay, that's the definition of what the left is engaged in right now.
Oh, I see.
Speaking of
Okay.
cults,
That was a plot twist.
all about conformity and compliance, and heaven forbid you don't agree with them.
It's amazing how much I haven't missed her.
Yeah.
Paste tells its children not to eat Sarah Palin. That's how dumb she is.
All right, and the new version, Elise Stefanik. Do we have that 18? As a father, you should know this. Father's Day is coming up. Apparently, milk. The left is going to outlaw milk.
Oh, really? Like
Yes.
hamburgers and
Families are the ones that should be making this decision, not big government. And this is another issue where Mayor Adams wanted to ban whole and flavored milk in New York City. I successfully pushed back, and we won that fight. He had to put a pause on that. But as we see often, these far-left radical ideas that start in New York City and New York State, they often eventually make their way to Washington. So we've seen the Biden administration attempt to ban whole milk and ban flavored milk. We passed the Whole Milk in Schools Act.
Okay, how long will it take to research that and see where the lie is? How long will it take me?
I don't. And by the way, Eric Adams, far left? No.
Computer says no.
Yeah, Eric Adams is so far right, he's almost speaking German.
Yeah.
He's so far. The Democratic Party is going to use Eric Adams so hard to show how their law and order cred is so real. I mean, because in the Democratic Party, you can have a right-winger, you can have an anti-abortion right-wing person, and you can have a Rastafarian. The party is so broad ideologically, you don't need Republicans.
Yeah.
We can have a Manchin and we can have an AOC in the same party.
Yeah. I had a better idea. Mayor Meyer Wiley.
Thank you. Me too.
New York. Stupid. Oh, give me 12. Senator Chris Murphy on the...
No doubt these are incredibly serious charges, and the American public are certainly watching. I mean, I guess my worry is that the entire political conversation gets focused around these charges when I think when it comes to Donald Trump's candidacy, what matters a lot more to Americans are his pledges to continue his policy of tax cuts for billionaires and millionaires and impose a national abortion ban. Those are likely the conversations voters out there are going to find much more relevant. These charges are serious, but probably not going to be the things that motivate voters to the polls if Donald Trump becomes the Republican nominee.
Once again, the C word was bandied, cult, by Chris Murphy as well.
This has become one big cult of personality, the Republican Party, and so they have this reflexive instinct in order to defend the leader. But my colleagues in the Senate, especially those in the Intelligence Committee, know how dangerous it is for someone to purposely retain this kind of classified information. We have at least one instance where Donald Trump was very purposely and deliberatively sharing the information in order to settle a political score. We don't know why he kept all the documents. Maybe they were just as mementos, but maybe he was using them in order to selectively release them in order to try to benefit his political career or damage his political opponents.
Yeah. John, speaking of the C word, because it is, a cult has its base in religion, right?
Yeah.
I mean, there obviously are religious cults, but what I was saying, I was most disturbed by at the arraignment was when they interviewed the Trump supporters, almost to a person. None of them had read the indictment.
None of them.
They're all like, "Oh no, I don't believe anything. Witch hunt, hoax. If it came out of this Justice Department." Yeah. I mean, there are people that actually deprogram people that were in cults. How is there a way that 30%, or are we just? Are they just lost to us?
Let me take you back in time to an era called the George Bush presidency. Let's go way George W. Bush.
In the Wayback Machine.
Anyone remember? Maybe the worst president we've ever had. Not the most unlikable president, but maybe the worst president we ever had. And he said there were WMDs in Iraq, and we said there weren't, and we were hated. And Sean Hannity and Fox attacked the patriotism of anyone who was against that war.
Remember, we were far left lunatics and not, what are we called now?
America hating, terrorist loving, because we said, hey, maybe don't invade the wrong country.
Yeah.
It was all a lie. 1 million people died. 5,000 troops died. The Republicans hated us more when we were proven right until Donald Trump came along in 2015 and said George W. Bush lied us into war. And then the Republicans believed it. When Trump gave them permission, they threw Bush under the bus.
This is what I hate, that we have to quote Bill Barr or people on the right as if like they have more credibility.
But that's it.
On Donald Trump's guilt.
Trump broke it because the cult can only be broken by a new cult leader. So, I thought Ron DeSantis was going to be the one to do it. Now we know better. But there will be someone that will come along that will capture their fancy, that will tell them, Donald Trump sold you a bill of goods and I'm here to deliver the real Make America Great Again. And they'll believe it. They just replace the cult leader because you won't find a Republican now to defend George W. Bush, and they hated us.
I get letters like that all the time that I've loved you since Bush. And I forgot. I thought they meant when I came out and not the president.
We've all seen those downloads, Steph, but that was, the 90s, and that was the natural look was in.
Sure.